It is Jack. He cannot lay on the dock. He will drown.
He will fall in, and he will drown, and he will die.
Yeah.
This is Whose Creek Is It?
The podcast where two sisters recap and pontificate about the show Dawson's Creek.
I'm Miranda, and I've seen the whole series at least 5 times.
And I'm Allison, and I'm watching this show for the very first time. Let's get started.
Season 2, Episode 12, Uncharted Waters, came out on January 27th, 1999. The director was Scott Paulin, and the writers were Dana Barada and Mike White.
Yeah, this was an interesting... I don't know that I'm sure lots of TV shows do this, but it's just interesting to see them, the way that they pivot from, like, last week was the, like, couples, romance, sex, and then this week they're like, all right, go off and do other things.
Go have a father-son experience.
Yeah, because Pacey plants that in the first scene when they're in Dawson's bedroom, and we're like, oh, I can't wait to see this, because I've been waiting to get some insight into Pacey's family. Like, is he just, like, dramatic and being weird in the way that a teen is like, oh, I hate my parents, or, like, what's the deal? So we got to see a little bit this episode.
Yeah, I was gonna say, I bet you hate someone more than Abby now.
I want Abby to see a therapist. There's something genuinely, like, something is wrong. Especially after this episode, the final scene with her in it. But yeah, Pacey's dad is... I appreciated that he was a very believable kind of asshole. That he would, like... The way that they portrayed the tension in some of the scenes, I was like, it forced you to wonder what happens behind closed doors without actually telling you what happens.
Mm-hmm.
So, yeah, I thought that was well done with, like, a light touch that I wasn't expecting.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, Pacey's dad sucks.
Yeah. All of it's just kind of like, yeah, this makes sense. I kind of feel like the writers were ACAB before it was popular.
I don't know. I didn't take it as, like, that political. I took it more as, like, in a lot of towns and communities, there's the great upstanding guy who everybody loves and respects, and the way he treats his own family is not as well. He is not as great a guy when you get up close.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, so, but maybe they were ACAB from the beginning. Maybe.
Yeah, I'm just like, this doesn't help police's case, this guy. He feels like a stereotype almost, but believable, definitely.
Yeah, like like an archetype. Like, this is a guy I believe exists in so many towns in America.
Mm-hmm. Okay, so jumping into the episode, we're in Dawson's bedroom and Pacey is shooting darts while Dawson is trying to work on fleshing out his characters and their relationships in his movie. And they start talking about fathers and dysfunction. I think it's like Pacey asks about, like, how Dawson and his dad are doing or something.
Yeah.
And that's when Pacey establishes that he and Dawson will be going on a fishing trip with their dads.
Mm-hmm.
And they weirdly get into this, like, discussion of, like, do you respect your father? And Pacey says, how could you not respect a cop? Just kind of...
Yeah, when I see any cop, my thought is that is a stranger with a gun who will have no repercussions for anything he does. Or, we'll be inclusive, she, but for the most part. Yeah,
Allison.
Yeah. Well, no, it's interesting that I'm sure there are still many people in America, and there are still many places where people, the cops are there to protect you, and they're there to help, and, you know, we as white women, we are like we are the property that cops are there to protect. for
Kind of.
for white
Yeah.
patriarchy. And it all very much depends on where you live, because it's, well documented that cops operate very differently in different, even neighborhoods of the same city. Anyway, point being, no, I do not automatically respect a cop.
I'm respectful because
I don't want to get killed.
Yeah. Basically.
Which you and I are admittedly at very low risk of.
Yeah, although, I was going to say, to be honest, as white women, we're more likely to be sexually assaulted by them than killed, probably, but,
Yeah, that's true. Mm-hmm.
Anyway, fun topic.
Hey!
So, weirdly, Dawson's the one who's like, I feel like I sense disaster coming.
Yeah, and did Pacey ask if Dawson respects his dad?
Yeah, and I think he just responded, like, he didn't really give an answer. He just responded to
right.
Pacey like, well, do you respect your dad?
Yeah. And that's a real like coming of age thing of kind of re-examining your relationship with your parents and like seeing where they exist in the world and like what you like and respect about them and what maybe you don't. So yeah, it was an interesting development of Dawson and his dad's relationship, because they seemed to like go in a direction that they hadn't really gone before.
Yeah.
And then they go right to Pacey's dad, right?
Yeah, basically, Dawson and Pacey are like riding bikes in downtown, and a cop car flashes their lights, and they like pull over, and Pacey's dad gets out of the car, and he's very friendly to Dawson. He's like saying, "Don't you forget about us when you make it big in La La Land," or whatever. Then he also says, like, make sure to visit Pacey. He'll be here flipping burgers or something like that. Yeah.
Yeah, which there's nothing wrong with flipping burgers, you douche. But also that this is clearly part of a pattern. Also, Pacey's dad just looks like a hard ass.
They picked the right actor.
Yeah.
He looks the part. He plays the part.
Yeah, kind of like weathered, short cropped hair. Yeah, like he'll shake your hand real nice, but like you have an impression that you really don't want to see the other side of him.
Yeah.
And Dawson doesn't seem to pick up on like, oh yeah, because after the dad goes, they're like talking about it, and Pacey's like, yeah, did you catch that flipping burgers comment? And he's like, oh, he was kidding. Dawson, shut up. That's not like... No, Dawson.
Yeah, Dawson is being very oblivious to things going on in this episode until like the very, very end of it. But yeah, some things that happen in that scene too is like Pacey's dad is like, all right, you and your dad need to meet us at 0600 hours tomorrow. And I was like, yeah.
Yeah, quote, come prepared both physically and mentally to go fishing. Yeah.
Fishing with excellence.
Yeah, apparently it's some kind of like fishing competition, because we can't just go fishing. But
was it a competition? Like the end left me confused. I was gonna get there when we got to the end.
It seems like there was a competition. There was a trophy in some kind of, like, unless it's the biggest fish that's ever been caught.
Yeah, that's what my assumption was. And I was like, how did they already have the trophy made?
I think it was sort of like a fishing derby thing.
Yeah, maybe. I feel like it wasn't mentioned, but maybe I just didn't pick up on it. I don't know.
Yeah, I think that's why that was sort of driving the Pacey's dad's, like, competitive, get it right attitude. Yeah.
And as his dad goes to leave, he says to Dawson, keep Pacey out of trouble. So just another little dig.
Yeah. Like, loud enough for Pacey to hear.
It's like, we get it. You don't like your son.
You don't like your son, and you like Pacey so much. I mean, you like Dawson so much more, which is interesting
For some
because
reason, yeah.
yeah, because it's not like I wouldn't expect this like cop dad to be like, yes, I love an artistic filmmaking dreamer.
It is strange. Anyway, yes, so let's see. Next we're at school in the hall and Joey and Dawson are talking about Dawson's movie, and he says that there's a lot of work that still needs to happen for the movie, but he's like, but Jen is helping out so much. She's doing great.
Mhm.
And then Joey has to be insecure and is like, well, maybe your last movie would have been better if she had been there to help.
Yeah, it was like, oh my god, Joey cannot stand for anyone, particularly for Dawson, to say anything nice about Jen.
Yeah, and like Dawson's like tries to reassure her and is like, "No, you were great. Like you helped me so much. Like it wouldn't have happened without you."
Mm-hmm.
And while they're having this discussion, Jen comes up and is asking for Joey's help with a news report of Gale's that is about teenage girls and consumerism. And Joey seems to be jealous of the fact that like Jen and Gale are having conversations without her knowledge and are choosing to do things together.
Like, I see why it's just like frustrating and immature, but also she's 15.
Hmm.
So it's like, this is so unreasonable, but it's a pretty reasonable reaction for a child.
Yeah.
But also, this was, we'll get into this more, but I was like, oh, Jen found something she's good at and enjoys doing that's not making poor choices about men? Awesome! Let's
Yeah.
all celebrate this.
Yeah, and she uses the reason of like I'm hanging out with Gail because I want to like learn more about the trade. I want to learn more about like filming and stuff.
Mm-hmm.
Um, and so she says, "Come with me to like Dawson's house, and we'll do this segment with Gail."
Mm-hmm.
Um, and Joey is kind of like, well, why do I need to come? And Jen plays up the niceness and is like, because I think it's really important that we pick thoughtful and articulate people.
Yeah, Jen's trying so hard to be cool with Joey. And I think Jen genuinely does admire a lot of things about Joey.
Yeah, it's kind of funny. I think they admire in each other what they don't have. Like Joey admires Jen's confidence and like her ability to say what she wants.
Mm-hmm.
And then like I think Jen is very admirable of Joey's ability to really like work hard for what she wants.
And work independently.
Yeah, and that she doesn't, well, other than Dawson, she doesn't really need to seem to need other people's approval
Yeah.
too much.
Yeah. So, I mean, man, they really foreshadowed it in that first scene where Dawson's talking about developing the relationships and creating layers.
They sure did. I thought it was just to establish that Pacey plays darts.
I mean that too, but I mean, I'll be honest, I pick up on more things after you like come on here and summarize, and then I'm like, oh. So I sound a lot smarter just because you tell me what happens, and I have another another chance to process it.
Yeah, I mean, it's nice when you're watching everything for the first time, and it's nice when you go back and rewatch things because you know what they're getting at before they get to it. You
Yeah.
know, it's nice. Okay, so then we are with Mitch and Dawson early in the morning, headed towards the boat, and Mitch is waxing poetic about fishing. Like
Mm-hmm.
he's being really wistful about fishing.
Yeah, very like a man in the sea and the great unknown and
Yeah, so they meet Pacey and his dad, who are already at the boat, and then Pacey realizes he forgot to tell Dawson an important piece of information. He forgot to tell him that Jack will be joining them on this boat trip, and Jack like runs up from behind, jumps on into the boat. And it's funny as they like pull out of the dock, Dawson kind of like walks over and puts a hand on the dock, like, "No,
I
don't
didn't
leave me
catch
on this boat with this person."
that. Like, I get that he's mad at Joey, but after the last episode where like it's so clear that like Joey and Jack didn't have sex in large part because Joey still hung up on Dawson, I feel like Jack has a right to be irritated.
Hmm.
But no, Dawson can't handle it, and he's like, yeah, he's just being a jerk. And also, you know, Jack has to like drop everything and almost fall over as he gets on the boat.
Yeah. At first, like, I was like, well, why is he coming to this? And like, feel like it was established. Like, why did he invite him when he knew Dawson was coming? And but then they explain later that like Abby just really wants Jack to have some guys to be around.
Yeah, Andy. But
Oh, sorry.
I
Yeah.
think it's yeah, unless I've got him mixed up.
No.
But yeah, it's I can see how it got there, and I imagine that Pacey's probably like he's like preoccupied by having to do this thing with his dad, and yeah, it's just I felt so much for Pacey in this episode because I don't know, you know those moments or when you're around people or you're in situations where you're just like you are, to use a much overused social media term, a term that is now much to use a term that is now much overused on social media, being in a situation where you're just in like constant fight or flight and you're constantly waiting for the other shoe to drop, and it seemed like that was Pacey this whole episode, is just waiting for something bad to happen.
Hmm. Yeah. So after being on the boat for a bit, Jack and Dawson keep kind of like running into each other, butting heads or whatever. And Jack is like, "Look, I didn't know you were gonna be here." Like,
Yeah, I don't think Jack would have volunteered to go hang out with Dawson either.
mm-hmm. And he's like, "I can't really leave now. I wouldn't survive." And the funny thing is you can see the dock in the background.
Yeah.
Like, I'm like, okay. So then Dawson is like trying to get to him by saying like, "Oh, I'm just surprised that you would like leave Joey all weekend alone for some guy to come and like steal her away."
Yeah, some naive, artsy guy. And, like, I appreciate that Jack came back and he's like, listen, I didn't steal anyone from you. And if you had any respect for Joey, you wouldn't, like, be talking like that.
Yeah. And okay, so then we pop over to Dawson's house, and Andy, Joey, and Jen are in the front yard, and then Abby arrives. And Joey is like, "Oh, this will be fun."
Mm-hmm. Yeah, wait, did we establish how Abby ended up there? Did she, like, overhear something and say, I'm coming? Or I can't imagine that Jen said, you know who we need for this? Abby.
I don't think they tell us, but my guess is somehow she found out and everyone was too polite to say no.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, so they go in the house and Gale is trying to ask them questions for this segment, and no one's being very forthcoming. Gale picks up on this and asks like Jen to come speak to her in another room, and she's like, "Do you think like everyone just needs some time to like get comfortable, or do you think the cameras are making them uncomfortable?" And then Jen says, "I think having everyone in one room is making them uncomfortable."
Yeah, and you kind of can't get around that.
Yeah.
Actually, when she comes in, Gale, like, says something to the effect of, oh, Jen, this was such a great idea. And I immediately was like, oh, Jen didn't want you to say that, because it just reminded me so clearly of a work situation where we were trying to get this project done and there was some insecurity on the part of someone I was working with, someone who I think felt like I was trying to come for their job. And I remember when we were getting into the final meetings trying to get this thing over the finish line, I basically told my boss, like, I'm gonna step back. I feel like the more we attribute this to me, the more likely we are to get pushback. So I kind of just stayed quiet in one of these final meetings for a project I had spearheaded, because I was like, they're not going to cooperate and let this get done if they think that it's all my idea and I'm pushing it forward. So that's immediately what I thought of when she's like, Jen, this was such a great idea. And I feel like Jen was like, don't single me out.
Yeah, and I understand that feeling of like, I need to move around other people's egos, and
Yep.
I don't care how it gets done as long as it gets done, because I really don't care who gets credit.
Yeah, when you're at the point of like, okay, I've established that this whole thing is toxic, I just want it to be done.
Yeah. So anyway, they're having their little chat in the kitchen, and meanwhile, Abby is hitting on the cameraman.
I bet that camera's so heavy.
And he's like, no, it's not that heavy.
No.
So Gale and Jen come back into the room, and Gale's like, let's bond. I have snacks for everyone.
She's like, let's hang out.
So we cut back to the boat, and Mr. Witter is kind of bossing everyone around, just like, you do this, you do that. He has all the other guys man the fishing rods except for Pacey.
Mm-hmm.
And Pacey's like, well, why are you not letting me do that? And he's like, because I need you to do everything else. Like, he kind of makes it seem like it's an important job, sort of.
Mm-hmm.
And then as his dad goes to walk away, Pacey like mutters, this sucks. And then his dad turns around and gets pissy and is like, there's a lot of things in life that suck. It's my job to prepare you for it.
Yeah, and he says the it's my job thing a couple of times. And the thing is, he could have delivered the same information. Like, A, he's just a dick for like telling everybody what to do on what should be a fun fishing trip. But he also could have said to Pacey, like, I know that you know how to do these things. These guys don't know how this works or how this works or how this works. I'm giving them the easy jobs because you know what to do. Like, he could have used it as a moment to, like, tell Pacey, I know you know what you're doing and I can trust you. But instead, he's like, you gotta be the grunt.
Mm-hmm.
That's how you raise the flag at Iwo Jima.
Yeah. Jack, meanwhile, is trying to play nice with Dawson. Dawson is still being bitchy.
Mm-hmm.
And that's when he, I think, like slaps back at him that Joey's not the type to be stolen.
Mm-hmm.
And then Dawson's like, you're delusional if you think it's over with us.
Yeah, when and that is so something I've seen in like TV and movies before, where it's one of the main characters is like, it's not over. It's not over. It's like, okay, maybe just you're being a dick. Stop.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, and Jack says, like, if you have respect for her, you'll be respectful to me. And Dawson rolls his eyes.
Yeah.
So, cut back to the girls at Dawson's house, and Abby is like stirring things up by saying, like, let's go to Dawson's room. Let's go look through his things.
And my immediate thought is, everyone's been in Dawson's room. It barely has a door. But okay.
Yeah, so they go and follow her to his room. Abby's like looking in the closet for evidence or something to hold against him or something juicy to find, and then Jen and Joey kind of like trap her in the closet.
Mm-hmm.
Meanwhile, Andy is like, guys, I think I found something Goodwill humping.
Yeah. And I was kind of expecting there to be like more exploration of like, how does he have this? Why does he have this? But like, no, it's just sort of accepted like, yeah, he just has a porn VHS.
They're like, yeah, no, this tracks a teenage boy.
Yeah, who with access to a video store, yeah.
in the 90s.
Yeah. It was really cute when they sat down to watch it, though. I really enjoyed that scene.
Yeah. Yeah, so we'll pop back in a minute. So let's see, we're back on the boat, and one of the rods appears to have like caught a fish. The line starts spinning. And I think Pacey tries to catch it, but the fish like gets away. And then his dad gets mad at him and says like, "Oh, well, he didn't follow instructions, like he didn't do what his dad told him to do." And because he like put the rod on like the worser rod on the wrong side or
Yeah, he
something.
puts
I don't know. He decided to make a call and his dad was mad about it.
Yeah, he put like something on the wrong side, but it doesn't like I don't know anything about fishing, but it really seemed like how could that possibly affect that? But
Yeah.
okay. But yeah, his dad,
Yeah.
has to be a big dick about it.
I just find it funny though, because Pacey's like in these like very 90s glasses and he's just like all
Yeah.
pouty in them, and I'm like, I don't know, there's something about this look that is just like kind of silly.
Yeah, he saw The Matrix last year and now
Yeah.
he's
Yeah, that's a good description of what those
Mm-hmm.
sunglasses look like. Meanwhile, Dawson is just choosing to have a bad time because Jack is there.
Mhm.
And Pacey explains that Andy had asked him to, include Jack on this trip and that he took pity on him. But Dawson's not really like letting up on how upset he is. And
Mhm.
so Pacey says, "Screw you" to him. And Dawson seems like he's like shocked, like, "Why are you mad at me?" And then he says, like, some of us are just simpletons trying to get through the day without breaking something.
Yeah. And just Dawson doesn't seem to clearly he doesn't take seriously Pacey's relationship with his father. I feel like I don't know, I feel like in that position, and again, I'm in my 30s, so I probably wouldn't have done this when I was a kid. But I would be like, hey, this is going to be really hard for my friend, and I need to try to be supportive of him. But Dawson's so caught up in his own drama that he can't deal.
Mm-hmm. Typical Dawson fashion.
Yeah, yeah.
Okay, so we cut back to the girls and they are watching the porno. And we don't see any of it, but they're laughing as they're watching it.
Mm-hmm.
And just kind of like joking like, how is she doing that? Like
Yeah, and it was very sweet because A, they're all just like laughing and enjoying it together, but B, rather than taking the attitude of like, oh, is that what I should be like? Is that what I should do? They're like, that's so weird, dude. They're taking it of like, look at this weird thing, not look at this thing that I should be like and that I am less than.
Mm-hmm. Jen says, like, what kind of career is this? Not in like a judgy way, but just like, how do you end up with a career like this?
Mm-hmm.
And then Abby kind of ruins it by saying, oh, well, in a couple years, that could be you. And Joey laughs at this.
Yeah.
And then, like, Jen kind of gets bummed out. But then they kind of go back to laughing about the video. And then Gale walks in
Mm-hmm.
and it's like, all right, I think we've embarrassed Dawson enough today.
Yeah, she's like, leave my son's porn collection alone.
Yeah, I can blow this. It's never brought up the fact that he has this porn ever again. And I'm like, I feel like these girls should have teased him about it a little bit.
Yeah, a little something.
But yeah, as far as he knows, I don't think he ever finds out that they were like digging through his room.
Yeah. I feel like on most TV shows, or like maybe this is depends on the era, but I feel like on most TV shows, if they found like a porn VHS in a teen boy's room, it would be like a big deal. It would like mom and dad would have to sit him down, and but in this, they're just like, yeah, come on, girls.
Yeah, no one's shocked by this information.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, so they go to leave Dawson's room, but then Jen kind of like holds back and talks to Joey alone, and she confronts her. She's like, I don't understand, like, why you still hate me. Like,
Mm-hmm.
you clearly won with Dawson, and I don't know why you're always trying to, like, make me feel bad. And then Joey responds, like, very angrily and guarded, and accuses her of being disingenuous.
Mm-hmm.
And she says that, like, Jen keeps trying to take her place and everything. Like, she tried to get Dawson, and then she now is doing the movie producer thing, which Joey was doing first. And
Mm-hmm.
um she says, like, what's next? Are you going to work at the ice house and take up watercolors?
Yeah, and it's like, on the one hand, I see Joey's point that, yes, Jen has in some ways sort of like taken her sloppy seconds
Hmm.
for, and I don't know if that's the best way to put it, but on the other hand, it's a small town. She lives next door to Dawson. Maybe she doesn't have a lot of close friends, and Jen needs a friend and a hobby right now.
Yeah. Yeah. Jen stands up for herself. She says to Joey, I just think you're insecure. But then Joey's like, you still want Dawson. And, like, you're the one lying to yourself.
Like, maybe it's. I need to remind myself that they're children.
Yeah. Next, we're at a dive bar with Pacey and Dawson and their dads. And their dads are playing darts, and Dawson, Pacey, and Jack are playing pool.
Mm-hmm.
And Dawson, like, makes some kind of snarky comment about his dad, who seems to be enjoying himself. He says, "I'm worried if my dad has too much fun, he'll want to open a dive bar. Like, this will be his new this will be his new thing he wants to do."
Yeah.
I feel like he says it not super seriously, but I think Pacey is just, like, very sensitive right now. He cannot handle, like, he sees Dawson's dad as such, like, a stand-up dad compared to his, that
Mm-hmm.
he just can't take Dawson's criticism of his pretty good dad
Mm-hmm. And yeah.
anymore.
And so yeah, so he hears what maybe was just a joke. He hears it as like complaining about Dawson's dad.
Mhm. Yeah. So Pacey is annoyed, and then Dawson's like, "Well, if you're mad at your dad, just tell him." And Pacey's like it's that simple.
Yeah, Dawson. Not everyone has relationships. Not all relationships are the kind where you can just go and tell someone you're upset and it's gonna actually help things.
Yeah. Yeah. So Jack is also watching this whole thing unfold, and he, like, defends Pacey. He's like, "Do you really not see how Pacey's dad is, like, being nice to you, but he's not being nice to Pacey? And, like, do you really see the difference here?"
Mm-hmm.
And he storms off, and Dawson's like, kind of like, "What? Now I'm the bad guy?"
And it is tough in that moment when you're not like the real, when you're like the secondary bad guy, when you're like the person who it's getting taken out on.
Hmm.
It can be tough. I think you learn with age to be able to recognize like, oh, this isn't about me.
Yeah. Yeah.
I don't think Jack really helped that much because like I don't think Dawson's gonna listen to Jack,
Yeah.
but Jack's just there. I was like, oh, poor. Like, I see why Andy wanted Jack to go have, like, guy time and be around father figures, but it's like, there's a lot going on here that Jack cannot help with.
Yeah, but I think Jack is having the same frustration that Pacey has. Like, we kind of find out where he's coming from later down the line with his own father.
Yeah.
So, yeah, I think he's backing up Pacey because he also feels like a strong
Jealousy.
sense. Yeah, jealousy is a good word.
Hmm.
Um, yeah, so then we pop back to the house, and the girls are, like, sitting in a room together, and they're all kind of, like, starting to open up. Uh, but Abby keeps like interrupting and is dominating the conversation. And she's like, I can't even like speak my mind anymore. I think she says something of like, I can't say that, I can't say anything about Joey's dad being a convict or Andy's mom being in the loony bin.
Yeah. Because, guys, the quote unquote cancel culture conversation is not new. We've been doing this for decades. For decades, people have been complaining that they quote unquote can't say the things they want to say. And it's not that you can't, it's just that there's consequences.
Yeah.
You're allowed to say it.
Yeah. And in theory, there's more accountability now because sharing information is a lot easier.
Oh, no, sorry. The cat tried to jump in my lap and then he fell down. Hold on one sec.
Aww.
Crush, I'm sorry, buddy. Hold on. I got you, buddy. I know, I'm sorry.
Was it your fault, or was it his jump a fail?
His jump was just kind of a fail. He should have gone.
He's embarrassed.
He should have gone for the other bar stool because it was empty, and then he could go to from that bar stool to my lap in the bar stool. But instead, he tried to go directly to the lap, which is higher, and he didn't make it. And it's okay. I picked him up, and he's here now. It's okay, buddy. He's embarrassed.
Like, I'm so embarrassed.
So yeah, Abby's mad because she can't say horrible things about people.
Yeah, and so Gale does the smart thing and politely asks her to leave. She's like, I think we've heard enough from you.
Yeah. And honestly, in the very beginning of the scene when Abby's talking about like, people are insecure and that's part of the consumerism, I'm like, oh, does Abby have like real thoughts and opinions? Does Abby actually have like a point of view about the world? And then it spiraled very quickly.
Yeah. Yeah. So anyway, when Abby realizes that she's being asked to leave, she flips out. She's like, what kind of journalist are you? And then she says, oh, right, one that's trashy and sleeps around. And then storms out. And they cut to Andy's face, and she just kind of has the like, oh no face.
Be like, if I'm perfectly still, maybe no one will know I'm here. Like, damn, Abby.
Yeah. Okay. So, we are now with Mitch and Dawson, who are back at the boat. And Mitch is laying down a sleeping bag right on the very edge of the dock.
Yes, the edge of a narrow dock, he's laying out a sleeping bag.
Like, seems like a good way to roll into the river, but sure.
Yeah, and you know what's a good way to drown? Being in a sleeping bag and rolling.
Oh, that's a great point.
I don't care how good a swimmer you are. It's hard to get out of wet fabric. And sleeping bags will sop up all the water. This is a bad idea, Mitch.
I was just like, he's gonna get all wet.
I mean,
but
also
he might die. Dawson's like, what are you gonna do? And then he's like, oh, I thought I'd sleep out under the stars. And Dawson's like, no, I mean, like, what are you, like, what's your plan with your life now?
Yeah.
And he's like, are you, like, okay for money?
And he's like, yeah, for a while. And I was like, so you have been just developing this restaurant idea and presumably not having a job for who knows how long. You moved out and apparently rented a loft or some kind of apartment, or like, where's all this money coming from?
It's unclear.
Yeah. But yeah, it was strange because like Gale had like kind of poked at Mitch not working a couple of times, but it had never seemed to really bother Dawson.
Yeah. I mean, I think with Gale, it was just a way to one-up him. I think Dawson's more like genuinely kind of concerned.
Yeah, because Dawson's like, okay, well, you're not really participating in our family the way that you did, and you moved out by yourself, and I don't know what you do all day. And so, yeah, there's some
Yeah.
legitimate concern there.
Yeah. And Dawson says something along the lines of like, well, like, shouldn't you be figuring out your life right now? And Mitch is like, well, I'm sorry to disappoint you. Like, I thought it would be good to be on this trip. And then he says, he really tries to level with Dawson of like, can't I try to find something I'm really passionate about? Like, can I just try to find something for me that I really want?
Yeah. Yeah, I agree with Mitch's thing that, like, yeah, the idea that he should miss this fishing trip because he should, like, I don't know, spend this specific weekend deciding the new course of his life was a little weird. Like, but yeah, it was strange to see that it was just such a different time. It was such a different economy.
Financially.
Yeah, financially, it was just like the idea that anyone could just that a grown man with a family could just like eat, pray, love, follow his bliss. Like that's like it is wonderful when people get to do that, but it's such an incredibly privileged thing.
His dad would be like the boomer age, right?
Yeah, I guess so. It reminds me of how when we were kids, before the recession, I feel like when we were growing up, we were very much encouraged to like follow a passion and do something we like. And I feel like that was sort of based on the assumption of the 90s economy. The assumption that, like, well, yeah, if you go to college and get like any job, you'll be fine. You'll live a prosperous life. So with that sort of assumption, it was like now, so find something that really makes you like that's you're passionate about and fulfills you. And because we're just in a different economic situation now, like we don't have those conversations as much.
I mean, if I had a kid in today's world, I'd be like, all right, you can go to trade school or you can go to college if you study something that we're fairly certain is transferable to a job, even though that might change.
Yeah. On the one hand, like I want to have it's like kind of endearing that Mitch like wants to be passionate about his life and like do something he really cares about. And it's very clear that like this is where Dawson gets his romanticism. But on the other hand, it's hard to muster the compassion when you're just like you don't seem to have any like logistical cares. You don't seem to be worried about anything. I don't I don't understand. Like I want everything you want, Mitch. I want that in my life. But I have bills to pay too. Like
Yeah.
yeah. I don't know. I felt like what did you take from that? What did you think? Like did you feel like Mitch was being reasonable? Did you see where Dawson was coming from?
Well, like if they were in dire straits, I could see where Dawson's coming from. I feel like given the situation that they're in, like Mitch is approaching this with some sort of realism. He's just like he's doing something I wish we could all do. And like if we could all do, we should all do.
Yeah.
And he's like, yeah, no, like I mean I want to do something. I am just wanting to find what that thing is for me. And it seems like maybe he's never had anything like that.
Yeah. I wonder if Mitch has kind of bounced around, like, to whatever extent he has worked in the past, he's kind of bounced around.
Yeah. Although it's like, dude, you had so much time when you were married to find something.
Yeah. But I could also see myself in Dawson, like, worrying. I have spent plenty of time worrying about our parents.
Yeah. And I think it also, like, I think it's so different based on how you were raised, like what you expect a parent to do. So while Dawson and Mitch are having this, like, nice, genuine moment with each other, out under the stars at night, being
Yeah.
dreamers. Pacey's dad is blasted at the bar,
Yeah.
and Pacey's still with him. I don't know where Jack went.
Jack went wandering off into the night.
Okay, let's see.
His dad challenges him to darts.
Yeah, basically, I think, yeah, his dad is like, I think he says something of like, I'm only hard on you because I'm like protecting you or something. I don't know.
Yeah.
And yeah, they decide to play darts, and Pacey is doing too well.
Mm-hmm.
And then his dad gets in this weird vibe.
Mm-hmm. Well, before they even start, the dad is like, let's play darts, and Pacey's like, Dad, you're drunk, and then his dad takes like a shot of Jaeger in front of him.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
That's a good thing to bring up. And yeah, at first it starts friendly because like his dad has like all the confidence in the world. And then when he realizes that his son is like doing better than him, he starts to get kind of like vaguely threatening. And he, like, when it's Pacey's turn to like throw the dart, he like smacks him on the back and he's like, yeah, beat what I just did.
And then he like stands behind him and just stares at him in this really menacing way.
Yeah. So then Pacey throws the game.
Yeah.
And then his dad goes back to being like lighthearted.
Yeah, and goes back to get another drink.
Mm-hmm.
And just to make sure we all knew that he threw the game, Pacey goes up, pulls his dart back out while his dad's going to get another drink, and then throws a bullseye just to like drive home that like Pacey analyzed the situation and went, it's going to be really bad if I beat my dad.
Yeah.
And he chose to lose.
Yeah, and it kind of points out like why he hasn't tried in his life. It's like the expectation of him being a loser has become so mainstream that he worries people will be like upset if he tries at anything and tries to be better.
Yeah, and probably, when you're a little kid, you parents are like gods, and so if there were probably like a couple of times when he was a little kid where like he, was going to beat his dad at something or did too well at something and his dad slapped him down.
Mm-hmm. So then we're back at Gale's house thing with the girls, and they're talking about their insecurities. Like they're really getting down to it now that Abby's gone.
Yeah.
And it's like kind of a montage of them talking and being like melancholy.
Mm-hmm.
And Jen is explaining like her perspective on things of like feeling like she doesn't really fit in coming from New York and trying to find her place and all that kind of thing.
Mm-hmm.
And then it switches to Joey, and Joey explains how like she's insecure about growing up in a small town and not having like that many opportunities, and that she's like insecure of her like lack of worldliness. And so she's very protective of like her identity because it's all she has.
Yeah.
So basically they explain to each other why they're mad at each other.
Yeah. And then Andy's like, oh yeah, and I feel that like if I just get perfect grades and then everyone won't realize I'm like a hollow fraud and everything will be fine. And I said, party of one.
Party of two.
Party of two.
Andy's right there with you, but also me.
Yeah, party of three. If you're perfect, then bad things won't happen. Listeners, they'll still happen.
Yeah.
And you'll drive yourself crazy.
Yeah, and then you get resentful over other people who aren't constantly trying to be perfect, and you're like, how is your life not a dumpster fire? It's not fair.
Yeah, that too. We're fine. We are well-adjusted and fine.
Okay, where were we? So now we're back on the boat, and Jack is laying in the boat by himself. Somehow Mitch is somewhere else. Maybe he is sleeping on the dock. Um, but Dawson runs into Jack, and Jack admits that he's been like seasick this whole time, and so he's just kind of like grinning and bearing it, like just trying to get through.
Mm-hmm. Which also, why did
and
you lay down on the boat then, buddy? But listen, we can't solve all the problems here.
he's smart enough not to lay on the dock.
Okay, yeah, that's true.
It is Jack. He cannot lay on the dock. He will drown.
He will fall in, and he will drown, and he will die.
Yeah. Okay. So, let's see. Dawson is complaining about like this father-son outing not really being what he thought it would be, and Jack is like, "Well, you should just be happy your dad's even here." He's like, "My dad's not here." And then Dawson's like, "Oh, I know how that feels." And then Jack's like, "Your dad moved down across the street. My dad is like gone."
Like, gone.
Yeah.
And not even a, like, died in an accident gone. Like, a chose to abandon us gone.
Yeah. Yeah. And so Jack puts him in his place, and I think Dawson is maybe starting to get why he's the bad guy here.
Yeah, Dawson's starting to think, like, oh, perspective.
Now, Pacey is trying to help get his drunk father back to the boat, and his father stumbles and falls down on the beach and promptly passes out.
Yeah, like, his dad is trashed. And Pacey is in the position of trying to just, like, take care of him.
Mm-hmm. So, since his dad is passed out, Pacey, like, I don't know, to help deal with how immensely sad he is, starts like joking around with himself by like having this fake conversation with his dad where he starts like saying, like having an idealized conversation with his dad where he's like, I'm doing well in school, and then he's like, his dad's like, "Oh yeah, that's great, son," and blah blah blah, and
Mm-hmm.
saying, "Oh well, I met this wonderful girl, and she makes me feel good about myself, and she like thinks I'm really special." And then it turns and he's like, "Why can't you see that?" And he starts like crying,
Yeah.
and he's like, "When did you give up on me?" And he's like, "Your job is to love me." And it's just really sad.
Yeah. He's just like, it's really sad. And it is this, when did you give up on me? 5, 10? And it's funny, if you were to ask Pacey's dad, he would say, like, no, I love my son. And it's like, yes, you can love someone and also want them to remain in a certain position. You can love them as an accessory to your life. You can love someone and still abuse them.
Yeah, loving someone doesn't mean like you loving them doesn't really matter if your behavior is not matching that.
Yeah. He's such a cliche. He's the upstanding community family man with an important job who gets absolutely trashed and treats his family terribly.
But yeah, you really feel how alone Pacey feels in this moment. He says something like, "I can't do this by myself," so clearly he feels alone.
Yeah.
Um,
Like, you can't go to guidance from someone who's already decided you're worthless.
mhm. Yeah. He's just a boy standing in front of his passed out father, asking him to love him.
Yeah. And I thought it was a pretty well done scene. It's tough to like make that the sort of like crying believable, but I thought the actor Joshua Jackson did a pretty good job, and it was just heartbreaking.
Yeah. Yeah, he's like, I'm going to try to win myself an Emmy with this scene. No, but it is, like, believable. It always kind of chokes me up.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, so then we, like, cut to the next day on the boat, and they're out trying to fish, and a fish gets on one of the lines, and Jack grabs it and is trying to reel it in. Pacey's helping him. Jack quickly bails. He's like,
Yeah,
nope, I can't do this.
yeah. Jack's like, Pacey, you do it. You do it.
Yeah. Um, so he goes to take over and try to catch the fish. Let's see.
I actually had a question because they do like like a medium or wide shot of the boat as they're like fighting to try and catch the fish, and it was going at a pretty good clip. And I was like, "Do you fish going full speed?"
I don't know. I mean, it's possible that
Maybe.
while they were on the boat that and not seriously fishing, a fish was like, I'll take that. And then you just have to make do.
Yeah, again, I know nothing about fishing, but I was like, I feel like, obviously the boat doesn't stay in one place because it's on the ocean, but it's like, I feel like you don't just keep going. But yeah, but it makes for a more compelling shot.
Yeah. But yeah, so Pacey is running the rod, and his dad's kind of behind him, coaching him. And then we cut to or actually I think they catch the fish. Oh yeah, no, they do catch the fish.
Yeah, and there's all these weird like slow motion fading shots
Yeah,
from, like,
yeah.
one person's face to another person's face, and
There's like this weird music that's like really
Yeah.
energetic, but they're playing it in slow-mo. It's strange.
Yeah, it was some strange editing choices.
They're like, we need to make it seem like more of a thing somehow.
Yeah, and I was like, I'm not ready to feel any sense of triumph because I'm still devastated for Pacey.
Yeah. We come back and it's the end of like the night, or actually I think it's supposed to be like the next morning, and Gale is thanking Joey for coming. And Joey goes to leave, and Gale says that she's like, I just kind of realized last night that I was like sad that I had never experienced having a daughter. Like that, having that moment with you guys, like kind of made me realize what I missed out on. And but then she's like, but then I realized that I had you, and like you are my surrogate daughter. And she says, I'm proud of you, and they hug.
Yeah.
And it really helps Joey not feel like she's being pushed out of her spot.
Yeah, it really like it was a really nice for Joey to hear from Gale that like you are special, you are a special person to me. And like as much as like it seems like Gale likes and gets along with Jen, like she's never going to have as much history as she has with Joey.
Yeah. Andy is leaving the house and finds that Abby was out in the yard all night. And Abby's like, yeah, I told my mom that I was staying the night. And I guess she was just like too embarrassed to walk home or call her mom or something. Andy is like, well, what did you expect? Like, she's kind of like, you kind of suck.
Yeah.
And Abby's defending herself by like saying, I play a crucial role in the group. I'm the scapegoat.
Yeah,
You're the one who's mean.
It was wild. She's like, you're not the scapegoat if you're causing the problems.
Yeah. Andy's like, no, like you're the mean one here. Don't get it twisted. And then Abby is like, well, like my life is boring. you guys have things going on in your life and my life is boring, and so I need to do things to stir up my life. She's like, my mom isn't crazy, my dad isn't in prison, I'm not from New York. And she starts crying.
Yeah, and it was the crying where I'm just like, what is happening with Abby? My best guess was that, like, probably she has some, like, deeply uncomfortable or empty thing, like being at home is really empty and uncomfortable, but she can't really articulate that, and it's hard to explain that in a way that's comparable to, I have a parent with mental illness, or I have a dead parent, or I have this. So she can't, like, articulate her pain in a good way, so she has created this narrative that, like, it's causing trouble that, like, makes her life I don't know. It all sounds like some really weird rationalization.
Yeah. I think she does say that her parents were divorced, so it's likely that she only lives with one of her parents. And then I think she's an only child. We haven't heard of, like, any siblings. So
Yeah.
I think her boredom from loneliness is like factoring into her always trying to get attention from other people.
Yeah, and if you grew up in, like, without a lot of people in your life and kind of isolated, you didn't learn how to get positive attention from people.
Andy tells her, you're lucky to have a regular life and, like, regular problems. To which Abby says, well, grass is always greener.
Just, someone. I want Abby to see a psychologist.
Yeah. Then Abby's mom pulls up, and Abby gets up to leave, and then she offers Andy a ride. She's like, do you need a ride? And so she gives her a ride.
Like, Abby's having these moments of, like, oh, being a decent person, sometimes that works.
Yeah. So, let's see. Joey comes to Jen, who is in Dawson's room, and they both got their apology face on.
And they're like, let me say something. No, let me say something. I've been thinking more.
Yeah. Joey says, you know, I've realized that the person I respect most is the person I'm most competitive with. And then she starts to try to, like, apologize, but kind of stumbles and can't seem to find her words. And then Jen says, you know, for all that thinking, you're not very articulate, to lighten the mood. And Jen says, there's room in Dawson's life for both of us. And I was like, this is not passing the Bechdel test.
Yeah.
But Joey says, I respect you. I respect who you are. And Jen thanks her, like, genuinely thanks her, and says, like, I feel the same way. Okay, so I wrote, apparently the fish they caught broke a record.
Broke a record or won a competition. One of the
Yeah, because they're on. We see Pacey holding the fish and his dad there on, like, a raised podium on the dock. There's people there clapping, and they're handed, like, this big ass trophy. And I wrote, was this impromptu? So
I think it was like an organized contest thing.
Okay, so Pacey seems to be happy in that moment.
Yeah, and I was like, in this moment, I was like, wait, are we just sweeping that all under the rug and now things are fine? We're going to pretend everything's fine?
No, we'll get there. So Dawson says goodbye to Jack. He respectfully says goodbye to Jack. Like, somehow he's realized he's been a jerk and tries to be better.
Yeah.
Then he's there. Dawson's still there while Pacey and his dad come by. They seem to be having a nice moment. His dad hands him the trophy, and he says, be proud of yourself. Enjoy this moment. You probably won't have many of them. And then walks away.
Yeah, walks off to, like, be with a bunch of his other middle-aged fishing buddies.
Yeah. And you just can tell Pacey has had the rug pulled out from under him. Dawson overhears this and he's like, "Do you know how many times I've let him do that to me?" And he's like, "Do you know how many times I set myself up for that?"
And it's like by getting his hopes up. And he feels
Yeah.
responsible for his own disappointment because for just
Yeah.
a moment he thought, oh, maybe my dad can act like he likes me.
Yeah. And he says, like, I can't stop myself from wanting his approval.
Yeah.
Dawson finally sees, he's like, oh, your dad really does suck. And
Yeah.
I'm being a jerk.
Mm-hmm.
So he says, you know, there are people in your life who respect you and are proud of you. One is standing right in front of you. Another is in her room, probably going crazy, eagerly waiting your return. And then Pacey smiles at that and kind of realizes he does have people in his life who care, and he has to try to focus on those people.
Yeah.
Despite all this.
Yeah, and it's tough because, like, when a relationship like that is so painful, like, you can't ever really replace it, but you can sort of take some of the sting out of it by adding other relationships. It's sort of like
people having their chosen family.
Yeah, like it doesn't. You can add things, but it doesn't get rid of the absence. And like you have to add other good things. Like that's the only way to survive. But like it can't. The loss is still there. And that's.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, so it's hard to watch like Pacey be like, yeah, I don't know. This was just such a great encapsulation of that, where you're like, this relationship will never be what I want it to be, and I'm never going to have another shot at this relationship, but I can try to make the best of the other ones I have.
Yeah. So we head back to Dawson's place. Mitch is dropping him off, and Mitch has like a heart-to-heart with Dawson again. He says, I will try to be the best father. And Dawson kind of apologizes. Like, he says, thank you for being so forgiving and never making me feel inadequate. And he says, I think my passion comes from you and that you don't disappoint me, but I do worry about you. And he says, I do respect you. And that he realizes how lucky he is to like have Mitch as a father. And Mitch seems very happy. He hugs him and thanks him. And then Mitch has a slip of the mind and starts to like run up the steps to the porch as if he's gonna go home in the house. And then he remembers, oh, I don't live here.
Yeah.
So it kind of weighs down the moment, I guess. But he turns around and he gets in the car, and Dawson watches him leave and goes in the house now that he has finished his apology tour.
Yeah, that was such a heartbreaking detail of Mitch being like, all right, I'm going to come back inside. Oh. Yeah. That was a good episode.
Yeah.
And I've been so curious about Pacey's whole situation, basically from the beginning. And yeah, it seems, I thought it was a great depiction of the way that, like, even if a parent or like a loved one, even if they don't like hit you, even if they can to the outside world look fine, it can still be a deeply painful relationship.
Mm-hmm. He's got some daddy issues.
Yeah. Dare I ask, whose creek is it, Miranda?
I think it was the Fish's Creek. I think there's a good amount of runner-ups to this, because I mean, Joey and Jen have their moment together, their reconciliation. And then Dawson is realizing that he's being an asshole and is nicer to everyone around him. And then there's Pacey, who's just having a rough time.
Yeah.
What's your gut tell you?
I mean, it feels like the obvious choice, but for me, it's Pacey's Creek.
Yeah.
It's Pacey's Creek because I think this was like the culmination of a lot of things. Like, maybe this was the moment, maybe this was the weekend where he finally realized, like, oh, this relationship will never be what I want it to be, and I need to just grieve that possibility is gone. And it was probably, and he was also in the position of comparing his relationship with his father to someone else's relationship and their father, and he had this roller coaster of like feeling relegated to grunt work and then like the hero and then being cut down immediately. It feels like this will be a story that Pacey tells 15 years from now to someone important to him.
Yeah, I think I'll have to agree with you because Dawson's just a little too annoying in this episode.
What is so irritating about Dawson is also probably a character, like something that needs to be explored and that people need to see, is that when you have certain privileges or come from certain uncomplicated backgrounds, it's easy, there has to come this reckoning of realizing, okay, not all my problems are on the same level as these problems. I think, as irritating as Dawson can be sometimes, he represents a type of like adolescent and young adult growth that most people really need to experience.
Yeah, that's a nice way of explaining why he's a jerk.
Let's do a podcast about a silly 90s TV show.
Yeah, every once in a while they gotta hit us with a real heavy one.
Yeah, and and it's all, what's heavy depends on like, I don't know, what weighs on your own mind.
Yeah.
Like, things hit you harder when you feel like you've been in, like, when you can identify with the character, or if, like, it reminds you of something, so. I don't know, I've never been a fucking crazy person like Abby. I've been a different type of mentally unwell.
Yeah, it's like the opposite. I'm like, I want no attention. I want to disappear.
Yeah, I'm like fascinated and so angered by people who turn their own like self-loathing outward on people. I'm like, no, you hurt yourself with it.
Yeah.
It's like, what do you mean you're making it everyone else's problem? You suffer alone.
Isn't it fun how we're like messed up in very similar ways?
Yeah. And it's funny because like we didn't like we weren't like a duo growing up. We didn't like do a lot of stuff together.
It's just like, cool, you have that trauma too. I had no idea.
Yeah. Oh, this manifests in this way for you? Oh. Huh.
All right. Well, next episode is season 2, episode 13, His Leading Lady. I have a feeling this is going to be about fucking Dawson's movie.
Well, is Abby the leading lady? Wasn't she the actress? Oh, God. The next episode is going to be something.
It should be lighter than this one, I think.
I hope so. I bet.